We've all seen it happen, in books and in movies, from the old literature to the new. The main character's on a harmless trip, and all of a sudden everything goes awry, and they find themselves stranded in the wilderness with very little to survive with. But like Tom Hanks did in the movie Castaway and Robinson Crusoe did in his book, they knew exactly what to do. They found shelter to keep them safe from the elements around them. In this video, we're going to make sure that your story ends the same way theirs did. Should you ever find yourself in this situation, we're going to teach you how to build shelter using nothing but the elements around you. Wilderness survival shelters can be built in a variety of fashions that range from the elaborate to the simple. For the sake of this video, we're going to stick with the simple designs, using only forest materials. The first style of shelter, out of the three that's most easily recognizable, is made when you lay the poles that you find up into a tripod fashion and then lay your brush over them. This forms the teepee shelter. The next style of shelter is also easily recognizable because of its usage to create homesteads in the developing world back many years ago. Almost as iconic as the teepee shape. By laying sets of poles parallel to each other and then stacking them on top of each other like so, and then putting your brush over the top, you create the log cabin shelter. Now the final style of shelter is the one that I think is the most easy to build. You lay a straight pole into the ground, and then you lay another pole against it, and then you progressively stack poles up the slanting pole, and then you lay your brush over the top of it to form almost a cheese wedge shaped shelter. This one is known as the lean-to shelter. Now because of its easy and quick assembly, we're going to be showing you how to build the lean-to shelter. Let's get to work. As you can see here, Nicole and I found a tree that had a large notch in it that we used to put our main spine pole into. If you can do this, do it. It'll save you the trouble of having to dig a hole for your main upright pole. Please note that everything used in this video was found on the ground, fallen from the past winter. When you put your ribs on, make sure that they're strong and close together. You're going to need to weave some sticks in the next step. Now it's time for that weaving I was telling you about. Insert smaller sticks in amongst your ribs, weaving them in amongst them, kind of like what you see Nicole doing here. Doing this to close up the gaps will form a canopy that you'll be able to put your brush on top of. The more spaces there are, the easier it'll be for stuff to fall through on top of you, so make sure that you put stuff close together. Now comes the fun part, building your roof on top of your frame. Use tree branches, leaves, moss, whatever you can find. It's better to start at the bottom and work your way towards the top, laying them almost like shingles on a house roof. This will ensure that the rainwater will have a place to go, just not on top of you. Lay sticks on top of it if you have to weight it down and keep it from blowing away. This part may seem tedious, but it'll save you a lot of grief later on when you have to use the shelter. Now normally you would lay brush on to the point where there were little to no gaps, but for the sake of this video, we're going to call this pretty much complete. You guys are smart enough to get the idea anyway. 7 feet wide at the opening, 8 or 9 feet deep, big enough for a couple of people and a couple of backpacks. Not bad for an hour's worth of work. We would suggest making the door a little smaller, but hey, no one's perfect. So if you ever have to make one of these in the future, you know what to do. Good luck, and have a good one.